Hello and welcome to the ShankerZ Talk Show. Today we are joined by none other than Mr. Seb Brown. Hello.
Hello. How are we doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. We've also got Golf Nuts and Gmac Golf.
Hello.
I've got a bone to pick with you, Gmac.
Oh, we've started
Already.
3'2". I'm at least 3'5".
I was being generous with a 2.
James is having a laugh as well. We're both 5'8" and not an inch over. 5'7".
Oh, that's a load of rubbish.
He said he's taller than you.
He said he's 5'10".
Don't lie.
See, I did think they looked a bit similar.
I'm just so athletic that he looks bigger.
Is that what it is? Right, okay. We'll go with that.
So, how are you, Seb? All right?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks, guys. Very good indeed.
You see the hashtag United in the background there?
Oh, this. Oh, my award. How did that get in the back of the shot? Unbelievable. Embarrassing.
Right, see how we've got fuck all.
I've got a calendar.
So, let's get to it. Who is Seb On Golf?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting story. I don't know where that name came from. When I originally thought about starting a YouTube channel, my initial goal for the channel was to talk about golf, like what happens in the game of golf. So a lot about the professional game, to the concept being me talking about golf. It never really happened that way. I think as I actually have a video on my channel that never went live, which was my opening video. It's still sat there now as privated, where I have this really mundane, boring, just straight away talking to the camera video that's really rubbish. And it was me explaining all about that. And then it never happened. About a year went by, I never did anything. And then when it came around to doing it, a lot of changed for me, because I came into all of this really from the football side. So the main thing I do day to day is the hashtag United side of things. And my brother Spencer, who's got a big following in football, and he and I started the business hashtag United together. The football club has become a business together, football and eSports team. And through doing all those things and doing all the stuff I do with him and his content, I built a small following at the time. And I'd won this thing called the Trilby Tour a couple of times, which got me a few followers. But mainly, most of my following had come from the stuff I do in football. And I always thought, what an opportunity, because I love golf. I'm obsessed with golf, but I wasn't always. I used to be that guy, maybe at 20, just as I was finishing university, where I thought golf was rubbish. And I thought it was boring and for old men and not really for me. And I was really all about football. And how wrong I was. And I sort of had a bit of a epiphany, if you want to use a bit of a cringe word for it, where I thought, you know what, I bet there's so many people out there who are big football fans who shared that mindset and who also thought that golf is rubbish and it isn't what it is to me now. It has been for over a decade now. And I wondered if I can use that following and that audience I started to build from football and bring some people on that same journey with me. So yeah, you looked around and you see, there was already so many people making really great golf content at that point. Talk about your Rick Shields, your Peter Finch, and me and my golf, and it's exploded since then. And I tried to sort of think of how could I have a bit of a point of difference and try and make something different. And yeah, Seb On Golf. It's funny when people see you, they go, "Oh, Seb On Golf," and it's so strange to be called Seb On Golf because, it's it is what it is really. But I don't mind it. I probably wouldn't choose name the channel that now if I started again. But there's no point changing it now. I'm already committed.
Well, that's it. You're in, and you're quite a way in now, aren't you? So that's it.
Yeah.
That kind of answers one of the Twitter questions.
I had a question from one of the lads that I know off Twitter, Neil Littlewood, and he basically wanted to know if your channel would be as big as it is now without the hashtag United side of things. But like you say, you've just sort of.
Well, the answer definitely is no, but it's twofold. One, because obviously a big leg up that I have from being already known in other social circles, online for what have you. But the second thing is that, hang on, there is a contrary to that, because I probably would have never have started. Well, maybe I wouldn't have started as early and at such a good time, because it's so much harder now to start, especially from scratch. Absolutely. Even getting a push now from another channel is still hard. YouTube's changed so fundamentally, and the way the platform works, the volume of content there is now, the amount of choice people have got is so massive. It's definitely harder now. But also without hashtag, I probably would have more time to put into it. So I think that would help me. So I don't know. I maybe wouldn't have got the inspiration though, because I only really started watching YouTube content and being involved in that world through the stuff I do in football with my brother with hashtag. So probably the answer to that is no. I'm constantly very grateful for the little boost and head start I got on things. But, you know, I've been doing it a long time now, and my you know, I got about 20,000 followers the first like 6 months doing it. Since then, I've obviously got a few more. That's obviously, I'd like to think that's down to the sort of stuff I've made since then. But that boost is invaluable. You can't put a price on that, literally, to be honest. But it also holds me back a little bit because I'm so busy all the time. Like, I'm sitting here in my little home office at home. I've been doing phone calls and working on various things for that company who have their own offices over in Brentwood. I'm not there today, but there's 10 staff at hashtag now that we have to look after, and there's so much that goes on. Got the pro FIFA players, the eSports boys, got all the production team, got my brother, all the stuff he does on his channel, which has got, you know, a couple of million followers. So all that stuff is what I'm doing day to day. And I'm always jealous of all the guys who make content who get to upload so regularly, because I just about have enough time to film and get videos up maybe a couple of times a month if I'm lucky. So really, undoubtedly, I would not be doing it or would not have anywhere near the followers I have now without that. But equally, I'd probably now have more time to put into it.
Yeah. Do you think because you are so busy, it gives you that advantage in the sense that because you're not putting as much content up, your originality's there more, if that makes sense?
I hope that would be the case. I mean, that's not for me to decide, I guess. My goal is that because I don't have to get out a video 2-3 days a week, I'm very lucky that I earn the vast majority of my living. You know, bearing in mind I'm a father, soon to be of 2. I've got a wife and a house and a mortgage and all these things. I don't have to earn my living from the golf side of it. I earn my living from other things. It takes the pressure off having to upload videos. It does hold me back undoubtedly. Like all of you guys know who are in the community and know how much the YouTube algorithm likes being fed videos. And if you just don't upload like I do sometimes for a long period in a row, it hurts you so much, it hurts your growth. Yeah,
they won't push you or anything.
I always wanted to get to 100K. Once I got to 100K, you know, I've been caught up by a lot of people and surpassed since then. And that doesn't really bother me. As long as I can maintain a similar sort of level of interest in the videos, I just want to have my own little role in the community, which is to try and make content a little bit different. I quite like it when people say they really don't like the edit style or the music, when it's a bit different and out there for my most recent content, because I don't want it to be for everybody. I want to have my own little part of it that I like. And I know there'll be an element of people, and maybe golf as a demographic that's changing and it might appeal to. I'm not really going for that mass market, to be honest, especially when it doesn't have to be my focus, because I do get jealous. And also I can't imagine what it's like for, you know, people like James, who obviously is a good friend of mine and was on the show recently with you guys, to get a video out every day. So I know, because we do that hashtag almost, and Spencer's gone through a period of doing that, how much of a stress that is. People have no idea. Like, it's completely all consuming. So I'm definitely not jealous of having to do that, because that's a lot of work.
That's it. You've just started the series, the Playing Golf with YouTubers series that you've started. What are the plans for that? Is there any? Are you going to keep pushing with that one? Is that something you're enjoying doing? Yeah.
So I've been lucky that I've got to film with a lot of the guys in golf YouTube, both big and small. But I haven't done it in quite some time. Like, I film with some of the guys very regularly, people who work with the same brands that I do, for example, Adidas and TaylorMade. Get to film an awful lot with Pete, which is fantastic. He's become a really good friend. I'm seeing him tomorrow, actually. And the same with like the Me and My Golf boys, James Robinson more recently, obviously Rick as well, quite a lot. And I wanted to find a way that was different to just turning up and playing a match or doing a challenge that's been done before. Try and find an edit style where you can put in content that maybe isn't that unique, but you put this the way you present it that's maybe a bit different, that gives people a different insight into those people. I did a series called YouTubers Go Golfing, which was always about non-golfing YouTubers, and I'm still going to run that in the background, and that allows me to tap into sort of you know, the little black book I've got within the YouTube community, from whether that's lifestyle creators or football creators or even pro footballers or other celebs that I might know, to bring them in and find a way of collaborating them. Bearing in mind, I always want my content to be about golf. But this new one was just me playing around with a different edit style I had the idea of. I work with a guy called Craig Salter Golf, who works with me in all my videos, whether he's filming or editing them. And he's great because I have a lot of ideas. I have no idea how to actually make them work creatively in editing. I'm not a very good editor. I used to edit a lot of my videos. I don't now, mainly because of time. And Craig will tell you. I'll leave him a voice now. I go, Craig, I had this idea. I want to do this. I want it to be this in the corner. I want this to happen. I want the beat to drop like this. And I'm like, all right, is that all right? See you, mate. Let me know how you go on. And he probably absolutely hates that, but he's so good at turning that. Like some of the videos I do, we have different things happening at once. Like it's a bit. Well, we're still figuring it out what the best way to do it is. But he's been a big part of sort of what I hope has been an uplift in the type of videos I've been making in the last couple of months, because he's just so good at what he does and able to turn it round, turn what I can visualize actually into the content.
Yeah, he's a very talented editor. I followed him quite a while ago now on Instagram because he used to do a lot of fashion stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I follow. He's very, very talented. So you're lucky to have him on board, really.
Yeah, absolutely. He's great. We've got another episode 2 of that new series with a guy called Zach Radford, who's another American creator. That's coming out soon. We're working on that at the moment. We've got a really cool video coming up soon for a new format I'm trying out as well. That is going to come on the channel probably in the next week or so. That's another one with GM Golf that I filmed. That's the best thing about going to the Orlando show. I did it last year with Piers and Andy and Pete. We all had a house together, and it was amazing. We were running the show half a day, and the show was cool. To walk around and see all the amazing golf merchandise was cool as a golf fan. But really, it was about you get to see all the people from the golfing community that you only talk to on DM normally, you know. And the American guys, to get the chance to collab with some of them. Like this year, I went to Orlando. This is another example of what it's like when I've got so many other things going on outside of golf. I was there for 46 hours. I flew in Wednesday night. I left Friday afternoon. It was mental. Wow. And I played 3 rounds of golf in that time. And it was purely literally, right, this is a chance to go and film with Garrett, a chance to go and film with Zach Radford. And I just got in, filmed and got out. And it was knackering. But I'm so glad I did it because that's now 3 videos. That's like over a month's worth of content for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So James Robinson, that's 3 days worth of content.
Yeah, true.
We touched before on Adidas and TaylorMade. How did all that come about then?
So it's interesting. It isn't to do with this because we have a big deal with Adidas for Hashtag as well. But I actually had the deal with Adidas before Hashtag, which is interesting. Hashtag when we first founded Hashtag, I was working with Adidas. But only in a very early way back then. And I actually got Hashtag a deal with Umbro. Umbro were Hashtag's first kit supplier for the first 2 years of the club. And it was only then once I built a real relationship with Adidas that I was able to then pitch in to the guys in Germany about what Hashtag was and how they could do that as well. And that was fantastic that they did it. It basically came about as I knew someone at Adidas through football, but not Hashtag, just in general. Mm-hmm. And I just told them my plans. I said, look, this is how I see it. I see I'm going to make very different content or hope to make very different content. Hopefully there's an appeal to work with maybe a lot of what I hope to be golf fans as well, but also a lot of new eyes on the sport. So I guess one of the benefits of my content is certainly in the beginning, people who are seeing that content might be new to golf entirely. So they might not already know who Ping or Callaway or any of the other golf brands were. They might be seeing TaylorMade and they go, right, well, that's the brand I see. They might not already be trying to overrule a pre-existing thought about what do I prefer, Callaway or Ping or TaylorMade or whatever. They're just seeing TaylorMade for the first time. So an opportunity to bring fresh eyes to those brands and do it in a different way. And, you know, I obviously would say this, but can't be being more genuine when I could say how amazing they've been and what they've done and supported me. Not just financially, to allow me to go and hire people like Craig effectively, because you know Craig's a talented man, and you know his services come at a cost, of course. To be able to do things like that and to buy some of the equipment, when you're doing 2 videos a month, you can't do it on ad revenue. Let me tell you, that's a perception. I mean, my last video, I might have got 30 quid off it, you know. So it's not going to buy an SD card. So to be able to do that has been amazing for me. But also I can hand on my heart say that I used their products before I was ever endorsed by them. You know, I've always been head to toe Adidas. ever since I was a 12-year-old running around playing football, wanting to be David Beckham, through to when I played golf as well. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for the support they've given me.
You just stole the other question. It was about to be, have you used any other brand in playing golf? But
yeah, no. To be honest, I have, obviously, but before I had some TaylorMade clubs, I wasn't exclusively TaylorMade. I had used previous clubs before, but I was pretty much always Adidas head to toe. When you're beginning in golf, it's like you're not necessarily a one brand person. People maybe gravitate towards that as they continue their game. I used to have a bit of all the different clubs really, but I always had a TaylorMade putter. That's for sure. Always had. I've never owned another putter, I don't think, other than TaylorMade.
That surprises me. How long have you been playing golf, sir?
So I started golf just after uni. So I was 21 when I finished uni. So 13 years.
So 13 years ago, TaylorMade putters were shocking.
So my original putter was the Rossa, which is like a curved Rossa one. It's like a mallet-looking putter. That was the putter I had. I don't remember how I came about it. I've still got it in my garage somewhere. In fact, my youngest brother's currently got that in his bag. But yeah, I think my first golf clubs were probably, it was TaylorMade that. I actually was a set of Ben Hogan irons.
Wow.
It was an old, unknown brand I'd never heard of. 2-wood. Didn't have a driver, I had a 2-wood. And yeah, Ben Hogan irons and Ben Hogan wedges, I think, randomly. And then I sort of changed a few bits here and there. But I can say this now, one thing categorically is if I didn't have my TaylorMade driver now, I would feel like I was at a significant disadvantage. Whether that's because I've got so used to it now or not, but even more than some of the other clubs. So traditionally, my golf game, I'm pretty decent off the tee. I'm obviously don't hit it that far. I'm pretty decent off the tee, and I'm pretty good around the greens and on the green. But I'm terrible ball striking. It's never been a strength of mine. If I ever have a good day with my irons, I can shoot pretty low, but that doesn't happen that often. But without the last year, I've just had a fitting for my new sim driver actually, and I was petrified because I was like, I don't know how you're going to get any better than the M5 I had. And bearing in mind, I need to be using the most up-to-date equipment as part of that deal. I was like, I'm really worried about this. I don't want to get rid of this driver. But, they found a way to make a small improvement. I haven't had it yet, so I haven't put it into test, but had the fitting last week at Wentworth. And I'm excited. But, if my deal with TaylorMade ended tomorrow, my YouTube channel got deleted, and I'd 100% be using TaylorMade and Adidas products still, 100%. I can look the camera in the eye and say that.
Yeah, that's a lot of belief in one product, isn't it? In one brand, sorry, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, but it's what I've found. I've found that I people will say this, and I will be honest. I do think it's individual to each golfer, but for me individually, I find Twistface incredibly helpful. I'm not saying everybody would. I'm not saying it's going to be there for everybody. But for me personally, the amount of times I'll hit a drive, and because I've got a bad back issue, what I sort of do is I sort of early extend a bit. So on the way back, I sort of come up a bit. I get plenty of comments giving me all sorts of grief for it. It's a physical limitation I've got. Because I do that, as I'm coming into the ball, my club moves that way. So a lot of my club impact is on the heel. And the amount of times I'll hit once, like, you look at the dimples when it's hit, maybe 2/3 of the ball are off the face, and it'll go down the middle, not as far, maybe like 230 or something. Yeah. And people go, "Oh, nice shot," and I'm like, "Oh my god, you don't know how bad a golf shot that was." And I genuinely feel like I'm getting a massive advantage from that. Yeah, fair enough. I haven't tested any other equipment to see if I'd get the same, but if I go away and someone said, "Look, here's another, you got to use this today," I'd feel like I'm at a disadvantage. Me personally. Talking
about your strength of driving, we heard a little story about when you were in St Andrews.
that was a Twistface special, let me tell you. I nearly missed the biggest fairway in golf.
Did you hit it off the toe?
Yeah, I mean, it barely hit the golf club. Barely. Like, the opposite of what I normally do. It hit on top, where there's a little constant reminder. I'm guessing Pete told you about that one. Yeah. It was... I mean, in my defence, because of my back, I am useless without a warm-up, like really bad. So if I had to play in a comp without a warm-up, I just wouldn't play because there's no point. I won't be competitive. I need to hit 50 odd balls. I need to have all my stretches. And I got up there late the night before. We went out, had a few drinks in the Jigger Inn and some of the other bars around St Andrews. And we got up early and we're all so excited. We went for breakfast with the guy who was hosting us. And before you knew it, we were on the tee in 15 minutes, didn't hit a single ball or anything. So, yeah, and genuinely, like, I'm someone that I've been lucky enough with the stuff with the Trilby Tour. You know, I've played under quite a lot of pressure, and I tend to get better under pressure. But I definitely felt nerves on that tee. And yeah, I'm talking this far inbounds to the right hand side from madness.
Well, speaking of Trilby Tour, what's it actually like? Because we spoke about it a little while ago, and we've gone on our own little tour with a Manchester organised group. Okay. And we were talking about the Trilby Tour. What's it actually like on the Trilby Tour then?
I loved it. I mean, I did really well in it, so obviously you're going to have a good time if you're enjoying it. But a friend of mine did the Trilby Tour, did well, got to the final. So if anyone that doesn't know, I don't know if it is now, but what it used to be is it would be about 15 events across the country, and there'd be about 150 people take part at each event. And it's a Stableford 3/4 handicap, so 14 is the maximum handicap. And over the course of the day, the top 4 Stableford scores would all reset. So if you get the top Stableford score, you don't win the event. You then just go into the top 4. The top 4 reset, because it's filmed for Sky Sports, but on a pretty smaller budget. They can't film everyone playing the whole time, so they might miss the winning putt. So they do that, and they regroup everybody, and you go out in a stroke play, 3-hole shootout, playoff, right? And they get all the cameras in there and they film every single shot, and that's the main bit of the show when they put it on Sky. So you take part in that. Then the top 10 from each day go into the grand final at the end of the year. So you end up having 10 or 15 winners of the regional events, and then you have an overall grand final at the end. So in my first year doing it, I was off, I think, 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that, 2013. And I didn't win my regional event. I barely came like 7th or 8th, just about qualified for the final. And the final was at Rockcliffe Hall, which is one of the longest golf courses in Europe. It was playing 7,400 yards, something ridiculous. Like, really shouldn't be great for me. And I had just a ridiculous day. I shot like 3 or 4 better than my handicap. I won the Stableford tournament, then I also won the playoff as well.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, in 2015, I won the regional event in Hertfordshire, which is the best golf I've ever played under pressure by far. I think I had 2 out of bounds in the first 6 holes, and then I went like 6 under gross for the remainder of the event, including the 3-hole playoff at the end. I just one-putted every single green. It was like I had my original white spider putter was on fire. I've got to do a video at some point because all this is on YouTube. It's all filmed for Sky. It's on YouTube. So if you watch 2015 Hertfordshire regional final Trilby Tour, you see me just one putt from everywhere. It's outrageous. I've never putted like it since. And then I won the grand final that year as well at Forest of Arden. And you think about it, like with Sky cameras there, with sponsors boards up, with a caddy all wearing a boiler suit, a little gallery watching it. Like, for amateur golfers like us, it's as good as it gets. Like, you can go and play in a low-level pro event and get way less coverage than that. You could go and be a really great golfer like Pete Finch actually is, and without his YouTube fame, go and play in one of those events, and, you know, no one's going to ever see it, you know? And Pete, it's different for Pete, of course, but any of the other people in there, if Pete wasn't there, there's very little coverage. So you can go and be an amateur golfer, and you feel the experience, like you're really nervous, you've got all this pressure on you, and I just absolutely loved it. I don't think it's quite the same now. It's not on Sky anymore, I know that for sure. This is the first year I haven't taken part in it. When you win it, you get like a 3-year exemption. So I've always had exemptions for like the last 5 years to the grand final. So I haven't played in it this year. No, but I would highly recommend it if anyone that likes to, to see what their game's like under pressure. It's good fun.
Nice.
Thank you.
Going on off on your bad back,
how
much do you think the fitness side of things taking over golf will becoming a major part of golf?
Yeah, I mean, massively. I think it's all about, if you're talking about the pros, them getting the most out of their own ability and their own bodies. You know, they know how to really, really... You look at people like Rory and Justin Thomas, talking about height, we've been messing around a bit. But I've been fortunate enough, I've interviewed Rory a couple of times. He's my height, I promise you. And as much as he's really strong, he's not big at all. So he's found a way, and probably, to be fair, Rory's a bad example because he had this innate ability anyway to do what he does with a golf ball, with a golf swing, regardless of before he's got really lean and fit and everything. But I think it's probably big now for the way that the courses are just getting longer and longer. You need to hit it. You know, you look at people like Luke Donald, who's fourth from Grace. He just can't keep up with the guys distance-wise. You know, so yeah, I think if you're all the young guys I know who are trying to become pros, they're all in the gym like 2 or 3 times a week. They're all working on it now. Like, it's just, I don't think it's completely necessary, but like it's going to help. So golf's already hard enough. If you can find an advantage, or if you have a disadvantage by not being in shape, you're going to struggle. I mean, people that break that trend, you've got, you know, Patrick Reed, maybe, you know, Happy Barnrat. They're not exactly, you know, I can't imagine they're in the gym every day.
Even Happy Barnrat's in the gym.
Oh, is he really? Well, fair play. Fair play.
Even Beef's in there, isn't he?
Yeah.
After he's been to Arby's, he goes straight to the gym. Yeah, you tend to see a lot more of the golfers in a gym now than actually on the range. It's kind of one of the bigger coverages now is photo shoots in the gym. And, you know, we're back in, I don't know, let's say 6-7 years ago even, it was more about them being on the driving range, hitting golf balls. And now it's just photographs constantly of them in the gym.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you know, Adidas certainly now, Adidas. Sorry, I saw that bit as well. They obviously are looking to show that they're a brand for on and off the course and the lifestyle element of it. And obviously, as a sports brand, they have a huge range of products. And the same goes for the other manufacturers that will be able to appeal to golf fans for what they wear off the course, not just on the course. So I think that's a natural thing. Golf's trying to, you know, change its image slowly but surely. There's all sorts of ththings happening at the moment with the Premier Golf League and all the rest of it, the Golf Tour. I think it will constantly be tried to leveraged up. So I think it's a natural evolution of what will happen. Yeah, I mean, there's no amount of gym work I can do that's going to let me keep up with those big boys. You know, I've got a 99-mile-per-hour club head speed. No matter what I do, I can't get that magic 3 figures. So yeah, I'll just have to keep playing the shorter courses and chipping and putting well, I think.
That's it. So what do you think of this Premier Golf League? What are your thoughts on that?
I need to know more. I don't have anywhere near enough information to make a proper opinion on it, but I watched Rick's podcast with the chap, Andrew Gardiner, and I can't but help being excited by a lot of the things that were potential. You know, the team event, the Constructors' Championship, like Formula One, the players being dropped each day, your 2 from 4 playing each day or scores counting each day, all the stuff and all the different narratives that would lead to all sound very exciting to me as a golf fan. He came across, I felt, very genuinely that he is a golf fan first. There'll be question marks asked about the money from Saudi Arabia and, you know, what the intent is there long term. But here's what I'll come back to. Nothing stays the same. The PGA Tour was a breakaway tour from the PGA of America. The Premier League is a breakaway. The ATP tennis, like all these things that have been mentioned, he mentioned in there. It's a very, very good point. There's no way golf will be the same today with the Honda Classic being followed by this, that, the other in 50, 100 years. There's no way. No. Is it going to happen in 2 years? I'm not sure. But it will happen. It will happen.
I think it needs to happen.
Of course, like Bobby Jones or, you know, all the original guys, they play for different majors than they do now. So as much as, you know, Rory, for example, talked about being on the right side of history will just get rewritten. So someone at some point will make a leap and want to be the winner of the first ever something and not be worried about that, you know. So it will change. I obviously, from the world I come from in hashtag and trying to break the mold and do things and be a bit of a disruptor, only for the better, I believe that something like that will be very interesting. But I'm equally very respectful of the PGA Tour, and I love what we have now as well. So it's definitely got to be done carefully. And I think that just means it will take a long time.
Yeah, I think for me, because he said the dates were between January and August. Is what he said he was going to be running to. So for my question would be, how's that going to impact the current majors?
Well, he said it won't. He said that the majors are obviously massive, including to them. They're on a pedestal. They're above everything else. This is just for stuff to happen in and around them. Ryder Cup doesn't get hurt, you know. And this is the stuff that I think needs to come out. And we now need to just sit and let people talk and think and ask questions. Because as he also said in his interview, and he's done a lot of interviews now the last week or so, that he didn't want this all to come out yet. It's been leaked, you know. They weren't ready. So they're just getting the information out there. People are going to ask questions, going to come back and forward. PGA Tour are a very, very powerful organisation. Nothing's going to change that's going to impact that overnight straight away. People have got to be convinced over a long period of time. So yeah, I can see. I just do not believe something won't. I don't believe we'll have the same game of golf we have now in 50 years' time. I don't believe that will happen. It will change. It's just when it will change and whether this is the change. But I am very excited to learn more, and I hope they're given a platform to properly explain their plans. I hope at least they're given a chance, because anyone who's got the genuinely, if they do have, and I hope they do, the best interest of the game at heart, that you can't just let something stay the same it's always been because it's keeping a lot of people in a job, or it's because it's always been the case. You just can't do that. You have to be open to change. Something that's designed for purpose in the 60s and 70s isn't necessarily going to be conducive to what we need in the 2040s or 2050s.
Exactly, and I think that's the problem with golf as it stands. There isn't enough change. It's too much in the past at the minute. And like you say, I think this tour has that potential to bring it bang up to date.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I love a world, I think, where you've got Tiger Woods owning his own franchise, and he's got Rory and DJ and whoever playing for him, and then he plays himself for a week, and then you can just imagine how fun it would all be. I'm sure there's a lot of people on the other side of the fence who will say, well, what about this and what about that? The major question was a big one. They've answered that. It's more about, what happened? How does this filter down? One thing I did think was interesting, and, you would say this would have a massive impact on a lot of golfers because, if the PGA Tour is the main thing now, what does this then do to the European Tour? What does it do to the Challenge Tour? What does it do to all these tours down below? There's a lot of people that would be impacted by that. Yeah. Another good point is, as much as that's fine and great, but how many pro golfers do we need? I'm not trying to take people's jobs away from them here, but we might have like 2,000 professional golfers. When you're talking about a tournament where only 150 can fit on a golf course at once, how many do you need? Like, do you have to sustain a professional tour at the highest level for that many people? Big question they need to answer is how the promotion and relegation will work. If you're one of these 48 golfers taking part in the Premier League golf, how do you win a spot to that? So is there still a pathway, which there needs to be? So there needs to be a way of growing new golfers and growing the game in that regard. There needs to be people that can come through, be good enough, and not have to just get invited, but have a way, if they win this, they go into this. Yeah. And then what happens to people to come out of it? So how does that work? That needs to be answered, because I don't mind them, bringing in a new element and raising a new level of golf above everything else. But there still has to be a clear way for someone who's 15 years old to be really bloody good, move through the ranks and end up in that position. Right now, they technically can. They go and, play on a local tour, get a spot on a Challenge Tour, they win that event, they're in Europro, they win that, they're in European Tour. Before you know it, they're going to get opportunities with the world ranking points elsewhere. So they're the sort of questions that need to be answered. We'll see, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
You sound very excited about it, though.
Yeah, it is exciting.
It does sound good. You've been doing a lot of work with the European Tour as well, haven't you, with their new thing that they've been bringing in?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit with them over the years. Most recently, I've been hosting their e-tour, which is the eSports for golf in the WGT game. We started it over in Abu Dhabi in January for the first event of the year. There's 6 events this year. The next one is in Denmark. So I'll be heading out to Denmark for that one. And then the global finals of it is out in the Middle East again in Dubai come November. So, very much looking forward to that. Again, it's great. Me and my background in esports and gaming and obviously in golf seems like a perfect fit for me. So I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, I've been playing. I've got myself into the WGT game as well. It's quite addictive. I've been enjoying that as well.
I wish you would do it a Rory McIlroy game on PlayStation, because I've been right up there.
Yeah, I know. I used to play that game religiously, and the old Tiger Woods game. It's sadly EA Sports haven't brought out a new golf franchise for nearly 3 years now. I have a lot of contacts. I hear there is one potentially in the offing, but if and when that comes out, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's a partnership between the WGT and Top Tracer and Top Golf, who are obviously a partner of the European Tour, and they've already got a really big and engaged audience. They've got millions of people that play that game all the time. So I think that was probably the route they've gone down. And it's a game I've enjoyed more the more I've played it. But we shall see.
It's tough. It's a tough game.
I had to delete it. I was spending too much time on it at work, and it was not.
It is tough. It is tough. It's very frustrating as well. I've got little mini leagues with a few of my mates from Hashtag, and we're playing it. And yeah, when the green speeds are up and the wind's blowing, it's very, very difficult. I had a new respect because when I worked at the last event, I played it a bit, but nowhere near like I have now. And it all looks so easy. They're just like hitting it on the ding every time, making all the parts. Like, oh yeah, I can do that, no problem. And yeah, it's tough. Yeah,
that's a new thing. You're a pro golf computer player, pro kind of thing. Just doesn't sound right, does it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound as crazy to me because obviously I'm used to that from the the football side. You know, having the guys who are pro FIFA players. But like the eSports movement is crazy. It's still not quite there in things like football or FIFA, and definitely not in golf, which is only just getting started. But like some of the other games now, the viewership and therefore the prize money and the revenue. Like for example, this will make us as golf fans wins. So the guy that won the Fortnite World Cup last year, in prize money, won more than Tiger did for winning the Masters.
How old was he?
Djokovic did for winning Wimbledon. He won $3 million. Tiger got nearly half that, 1.7 for winning the Masters, a green jacket. And this is someone playing Fortnite.
Crazy, isn't it?
How old was he?
18.
18-year-old.
It might have been younger. It might have been 16, actually.
Yeah, I think he might have been a bit younger. Because I've got a 7-year-old lad. And he is Fortnite mad. He wants to be a gamer. He wants to be a YouTuber. And then you've only got to look at some like we're talking golf YouTube. Something like you've got Rick Shields who's on 750,000 subscribers. You click on someone who's got a Fortnite channel, and they've got millions.
Oh yeah,
of subscribers. It's
I mean, I look after a lot of. So another thing I do is I have my own agency where I look after other YouTubers and. Because I do a lot of the commercialization, the sponsorships and things for Hashtag and for my brother Spencer and obviously for myself. And there's a number of people within Hashtag who've got like 1 million followers, for example. So yeah, I know how different that is because I look after technically 3 people who in football have all got over 1 million followers. And then in golf, that would be the biggest in the world, you know. But in football, you know, even if you've got 500,000, that's probably like not even top 1,000 channels. You know, it's crazy, just different world.
See, I heard on the grapevine that you're the second best agent in the industry.
Who's the first?
You might have said that.
Who said that, Lee?
Upload agency.
Stuart.
Yeah.
You know Stuart, do you?
Yeah, he's my family member, cousin.
Oh, great. Well, he's a great guy, yeah. I've done plenty of stuff with Stuart over the years. Yeah, he's a good lad. Me and Stuart are on the same page in a lot of things. We often have chats about things that are going on in the industry, you know, which brands are good to work with, which ones are maybe not. So he's been a good ally and colleague, if you like, from mine. And he's doing great things with his agency as well, you know. Absolutely, yeah. No, he's a top guy.
He is. He's all right in small doses. In fact, you probably see him more than I do.
You know what? I don't see him that much. He's we see each other a lot of the events. From time to time. We speak on WhatsApp and stuff more regularly. I've not seen him for a little while now, actually. I think the last time I might have seen him in person was either at one of the boxing fights, might have been at the first KSI Logan Paul fight, or maybe even at one of the Sidemen's birthday things, I think, possibly.
I think that's the last time I seen him was a KSI fight, actually.
Oh, right. Okay, nice.
Yeah. Should we get on to the ShankerZ question?
Yes.
3. You've got a 4-ball.
Yeah.
It's a 3-hole match.
Yeah.
1 YouTuber, 1 celebrity, and 1 pro golfer.
Is it a golf YouTuber?
No, it can be any YouTuber you want.
Any YouTuber? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to get the pro golf one out of the question easy. It's a really boring answer. It's Tiger Woods. Like, no response needed. Like, I'm a massive... You might not know this. I'm surprised it hasn't come in here. My dog is called Tiger Woofs. It's genuine. On his birth certificate, my dog is called Tiger. So that gives you an idea of where I'm at on my Tiger fanboy levels. It's only because I had a dog before I had a son, or else he might have been called Tiger himself. I haven't got a son, I've got a daughter. But yeah, so definitely Tiger. Celeb. So the guys I used to love, probably a lot more when I was younger than maybe now. I'm a bit older. But from football would be someone like Beckham. or maybe The Rock. I used to be mad into my wrestling. I used to be absolutely obsessed with wrestling back in the WWF Attitude Era before it became WWE. So The Rock would be right up there because, or Stone Cold even. But the one I'll probably say is maybe someone like Gareth Bale, because not only is he a big name and a big footballer, a left footer like myself, but he's also, as we know, a mad keen golfer. So, maybe one day I'll get to film with him, who knows. But, I'll probably go with Bale just because I know he actually can play golf. And it wouldn't be much fun following around Bex, looking for his golden balls in the trees the whole time. Tiger and Bale might be a good little pair. YouTuber, if it doesn't have to be a golf YouTuber, that changes everything, to be honest. Because that opens up such a bigger amount of people. But I probably would say golf YouTuber. Again, just because I've been lucky. I've got to film with a lot of the guys before. But the guy I probably played with the most, I'll give it to him. I know he didn't pick me, but I'll probably go with Finchy, to be fair. He's a good golfer. I think we'd be a good team. If me and him are taking on Tiger and Gareth, I think we'd have a good chance, to be fair. Me and Tiger could have the bad backs. And then Finchy could just deal with Gareth Bale, I think. But, there you go. Pete took me up to St Andrews, so I'll have to pay him back for that one.
Yeah. Where are you playing then?
What 3 holes?
What 3 holes?
Any 3 holes.
Well, if I want to win, I'm going to play around my track. No, I tell you what. Obviously, the obvious answer would be Augusta, and I'm a big fan. I've got a picture there. You can tell I'm a massive fan of Augusta, but I'm not going to be that boring. It obviously would be Augusta, but one course Zach Radford told me about recently, Cypress Point. He's out on the Monterey Peninsula. He was lucky enough to play it. It's like uber exclusive golf course. And one thing I do love is links golf. My favourite golf course is probably Port Rush or Port Stewart in Northern Ireland. I went there 4 times last year. Just absolutely love the place. But Cypress Point, having not played it, it looks incredible. There's a video on YouTube. Golf Digest has Jim Nance commentating over a drone flyover of Cypress Point every hole. Oh my God, it looks outrageous. So we'll give it a go there.
There we go.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we call that a day, lads?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us, Seb.
Thank you, John. Most enjoyable.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys. Much appreciated.
And we hope to see you on a course sometime soon.
That'd be
around
great,
your busy life.
If you're down south or next time I'm up north, we'll have to. We've got to hit a few boys at Rick's Range. A few balls at Rick's Range.
Yeah. Lee wasn't there. Lee was sunning it up.
He was on holiday.
I was in Gran Canaria. It was so much warmer.
Does that mean I've got to put the fanboy picture of my brother up again with you and Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was proper. He's even messaged us tonight. Make sure it's a good one, lads.
Yes.
What a guy.
So, well, thank you very much, mate.
Pleasure, guys.
Thanks for your time.
See you later.
Take care.
Cheers.